Also ongoing, Deputy President Paul Mashatile answers oral questions in the National Council of Provinces. On that note, let's go live there.
Okay. Thank you very much. Please proceed, President. Deputy President. Thank you very much, Chairperson. Honorable Chairperson, in our view, the sustainable provision of essential services such as water, electricity, sanitation must be the hallmark of developmental local government. The task delegated to the Deputy President, working with the Department of Cooperative Government and Traditional Affairs, National Treasury, other departments, is to ensure that municipalities deliver critical services. In the immediate, we have been helping municipalities to pay debts owed to ESCOM and water boards. At the end of December 2022, municipalities owed ESCOM 56.3 billion rands, and the debt is rising. Government has introduced a debt relief package for ESCOM intended to improve the utilities balance sheet, whilst proposing that ESCOM writes off some of the debts or some of the municipal debts under strict conditions with guidance from National Treasury. On the 1st of April 2023, the National Treasury published a Municipal Finance Management Act Circular number 124, which deals with the relief strategy regarding a municipal debt owed to ESCOM. As a government, we recognize that debt relief alone will not return ESCOM to its financial sustainability. A key assumption considered in the debt relief determination is the implementation of the recent tariff increase approved by the regulator. Without these increases, the debt relief arrangement is not sustainable. Municipal debt relief will be conditional and application-based. This relief is aimed at correcting underlying behavior and operational practices in defaulting municipalities. Hence, parallel to this process, ESCOM is introducing a smart metering solution to change consumer behavior by reinforcing a culture of payment for services rendered. Honorable Chairperson, the culture of non-payment, not only by municipalities, but also by all organs of state and individual household customers, is concerning. As the government, we cannot overemphasize the need to enforce the culture of payment for services rendered. The National Treasury has further developed the ESCOM Debt Relief Bill 2023 as a measure to improve ESCOM's financial situation. In terms of Section 2 of the bill, government advances to ESCOM, which are over the medium term and expenditure framework period, will amount to a loan. Honorable Chairperson, municipalities and water boards are responsible for 65% of the debt to the water trading entity. As of the December 2022, water boards were owed 60.1 billion rand by municipalities. This includes 10.9 billion rands that is overdue for more than 3 months. The escalating debt in the water sector is attributed to the absence of economic regulatory regime for infrastructure investments, costing pricing, and culture of non-payment of services, water losses, and unauthorized connections. The government has put in place the following measures to strengthen billing and revenue collection to address the escalating debt of municipalities to water entities. 1, adoption of credit control and debt recovery measures across all water boards. And 2, the installation of bulk prepaid meters by water boards in municipalities, especially with a poor payment record. The success of all these relief measures is dependent on coordination across all spheres of government. This is why the government will continue working with all sectors of society to increase and build sustainable economic activities in all municipalities, to create viable tax bases, to develop revenue for social and economic development. I thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Deputy President. The first supplementary question will come from Honorable Shaik.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson, and thank you very much, Honorable Deputy President, on your comprehensive response to this question. I think it's an important question, and Deputy President, this is also your maiden question and answer session in the National Council of Provinces. We note the various initiatives that government is undertaking to address municipal debts, especially in terms of the immediate, medium, and long term, as you've indicated, Deputy President. But as you may be aware, Deputy President, there has always been what I would call a one-size-fits-all approach in terms of the current funding model to municipalities, despite the fact that there are serious differences in terms of the revenue base between especially rural and urban municipalities. On the one hand, we have a low revenue base, while at the other hand, there is a high revenue base. Against this backdrop, Deputy President, are there any policy considerations by government to develop and adopt a context-specific funding model for rural and low-based municipalities and low-revenue-based municipalities going forward? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Deputy President.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Honourable Member, as you know, there are almost 257 municipalities throughout the country. And obviously, when government allocate resources, they have to take into account the different challenges that municipalities are facing. So at the moment, there is a review to the allocation of grants to the municipalities by National Treasury. The approach that government wants to take is to ensure that we don't go the route of one size fits all. But government wants to ensure that the allocation of grants should be disproportionately directed, particularly to lesser resourced municipalities, particularly the poorer ones, more in rural areas. So, yes, indeed, I agree with you that we should take into account the challenges that municipalities are facing. The same way that National Treasury does when it allocates resources to national departments and to provinces when they do division of revenue. So we'll allow allocation to municipalities to also take into account the various challenges, the capacity that the municipality requires, etc. So that is the case at the moment. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Deputy President. The second supplementary question comes from Honorable Boshoff.
Thank you very much, Honourable Chair, and good afternoon to the Deputy Minister. Just to enlighten you, Deputy President, 44 districts, 205 local municipalities and 8 metros, because it is 257, not almost. In order to address the problem of poor financial management in financially distressed municipalities, which unfortunately has been exacerbated by your government's discredited cadre deployment policy, it is very, very important that qualified candidates are employed to manage a municipality municipalities' financial affairs. To address skills shortages, will your government consider exempting financially distressed municipalities from the recently enacted Employment Equity Amendment Act requirements? Thank you.
Honourable Deputy President.
Thank you very much, Chairperson, Honourable Chairperson. I've said earlier that there is a review that National Treasury is working on. But let me say, Honourable Boshoff, that we as the governing party don't interfere with the appointment of people in government at all. I think the honourable member does not understand the issue of cadre police or cadre. It has nothing to do with just appointing people in government. When people are appointed in government, they go through the necessary processes of application and interview. So we don't just say to government, whether it's municipalities, you shall appoint so and so. They go through necessary processes. The challenges that municipalities face, including metros and districts, in the main has to do with local economic base. Some of the municipalities where they are, they don't really have good revenue base because of local economy. So they don't have a big base of revenue generation. So as a result, they get into distress. And that's why government, the national government, has been supporting municipalities. As I said earlier, will even take off some of the debts owed to municipalities just to help them. In the main, it has nothing to do with the personnel per se. Thank you very much, Honourable Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Deputy President. We will then proceed to the next question, supplementary question, that comes from Honourable Matebula.
Cancer Chairperson, Deputy President, the amount owed by municipalities continue to grow with each financial year, as the collection of municipal debt require more in-depth approach. Which step of intervention has the Deputy President taken in looking into the cause of financial mismanagement and misconduct in ANC-led municipalities, as it has become clear that there exists lack of leadership and ethical governance which ultimately impacts the function of municipalities and their ability to pay ESCOM?
Honourable Deputy President.
Thank you very much, Honourable Chairperson. Honourable Member, we are taking various steps to help municipalities. Firstly, as I said, that National Treasury has looked at the debts in municipalities, and we are taking steps to come up with initiatives that will cushion a lot of these municipalities, including how they pay ESCOM and various other challenges. As I said to the last, answering the last honourable member, that it's not so much lack of leadership that creates distress in municipalities. In fact, the governing party, as you may be aware, in the last year, when various mayors were appointed to lead municipalities, most of those mayors were interviewed, if not all of them. So it was not just like, oh, we like you, our comrade, go there and lead. They were interviewed, they had to show their qualifications, because we do take the issue of municipalities very seriously. And that's why we went through that painful process to ensure that we have the right people. So at the moment, I'm quite sure, Honorable Chairperson, that in most of our municipalities, we do have the right people leading these municipalities because of the process we have introduced. So honorable member, you will see a lot of improvements going forward.
Are you done, Deputy President?
Yes, I'm done.
No, thank you very much. The last supplementary question, honorable members, will come from the FF Plus, Honorable De Bruin.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair. Honorable Deputy President, with regards to municipal debt to water entities, and especially in the Free State, where, for example, the Kopanong local municipality owes Bloemwater more than 600 million rand, and the Mangaung Metro owes Bloemwater more than 700 million rand.
Honorable De Bruin, Honorable De Bruin, if you can please speak a bit, of course, louder, but slower.
Am I more audible now, Chair?
Thank you very much. Please proceed.
Thank you. Now, Deputy President, as I was saying, with regards to the municipal debt to water entities, and especially in the Free State, where, for example, the Kopanong municipality owes Bloemwater more than 600 million rand, and the Mangaung Metro owes Bloemwater more than 700 million rand. Yeah. Honorable Deputy President, this could have been prevented if we had a functioning provincial and national departments with functional oversight and consequence management over municipalities as well as entities like Bloemwater, for example, that doesn't always play by the rule. But as we all know, Deputy President, this wasn't always the case in the last 28 years. Now, Deputy President, would you agree that service level agreements across the board between municipalities and service providers should be reviewed to ensure that not only the entities benefit from these agreements, but municipalities as well, and that for a start, all interest on debt should be written off in order to assist municipalities in settling their debt? Thank you.
Honorable Deputy President.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. Honorable Member, we are aware of the challenges in Kopanong in the Free State. 2 weeks ago, I sent a team from my office to visit Kopanong to look at what problems they are facing there. In the main, you are quite right, it's water problem and also the amount of money that the municipality owes to Bloemwater. We are looking at the solution as we are doing with all municipalities. So I will be visiting Kopanong next month to look at how we can resolve the problems, ensure that people have uninterrupted access to water. And we would like to ensure that all municipalities, not just Kopanong, do pay for the water that they receive from water boards. So the issue of Kopanong and Bloemwater, it's something that we are working on to resolve. And I'm hoping that by the time we return from Kopanong, we would have found a solution to deal with that problem. Thank you very much, Honourable Member, for that question.
Thank you very much, Deputy President. We'll now proceed to question number 2. This question is on Financial Action Task Force Grey List, FATF Grey List. It's from Honourable Ryder and is directed to the Deputy President. Honourable Deputy President.
Thank you very much, Honourable Chairperson. Honorable Chairperson, the Financial Action Task Force, it's a global intergovernmental body that promotes policies and sets international standards relating to combating money laundering, terrorist financing, and financing the proliferation of weapons of mass destruction. During its plenary held on the 24th of February this year, the Financial Action Task Force grey-listed South Africa based on the evaluation conducted in 2019 and the report released in 2021. The report identified South Africa as one of the countries with strategic deficiencies in relation to anti-money laundering and countering the financing of terrorism. In 2021, South Africa was put under a one-year observation period, allowing the country to address 67 of the recommended actions. According to the Financial Action Task Force, South Africa has made significant progress by addressing 52 of the 67 recommended actions. And we are now, Honorable Chairperson, focusing on the remaining 15 actions, which we should meet by January 2025. So that's the deadline that we have been given to finalize the remaining 15. Furthermore, Cabinet has mandated the Interdepartmental Committee on Anti-Money Laundering and Countering Terrorism Financing to address the identified deficiencies expeditiously. This includes overseeing the implementation of the National Strategy on Anti-Money Laundering and Countering Terror Financing and tracking progress in addressing the identified deficiencies. Honorable Chairperson, our law enforcement agencies, including the NPA, are implementing an integrated action plan to ensure a sustained increase in investigations and prosecutions of serious and complex money laundering cases. The action plan focuses on cases involving professional money laundering networks and also third-party money laundering, as well as identifying, investigating, and prosecuting terror financing activities in line with South Africa's risk profile. Through the Cabinet Committee on Justice, Crime Prevention and Security, JCPS, which I chair, we will continue to enforce the implementation of the high-level goals, ensuring that all relevant agencies and departments are addressing these deficiencies as identified by the Financial Action Task Force. So we are busy with that, Honorable Chairperson. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Deputy President. Honorable Ryder.
Thank you very much, Chair. Deputy President, thanks for your answer, such as it was given. Deputy President, South Africans are asking many questions about these high-profile cases that are not being prosecuted or not being seen to be prosecuted. The questions that South Africans are asking are, when will President Ramaphosa be formally charged with money laundering? Will we arrest the Russian war criminal Vladimir Putin when he sets foot in South Africa? Will Didi Mabuza be charged for his corrupt activities before he flees to Russia? When will Zuma be arrested again to finish his jail term? What actions will the NPA take against Arthur Fraser for undermining the criminal justice system and releasing JZ from prison without reason? Which minister will be prosecuted for involvement in Besta's jailbreak? These are the questions South Africans are asking, Deputy President. Now, you've mentioned that in your role as the chair of the Cabinet Committee on Justice, Crime Prevention and Security that you will be enforcing the action plan of the NPA. But, Deputy President, while you can't answer these questions, it's up to the NPA to be answering these questions. What tools are you helping them with in your role as the chair of that committee to help the NPA achieve these high-profile prosecutions? Thank you.
Honourable Deputy President.
Thank you very much, Honourable Chairperson. Honourable Member, as I said, we will be enforcing the action plan of our law enforcement agencies. Now, we want our law enforcement agencies to do their work without favor and without fear of favor. So there is no one that is special. They must just do their work. So I'm not going to be chasing certain high-profile leaders and so on. The duty of the executive is not to investigate cases, it's the law enforcement agencies, and they must do so. I did say earlier when I answered similar question in the National Assembly that with respect to our own president, we know that he has subjected himself to the process of the law enforcement agencies. He has said so. There is SARS that has given a report. There is the South African Reserve Bank that said they are investigating. The public protector gave a preliminary report. She's still due to give a final report. So let's give that a chance. Let's not. Yeah. Let's not interfere. Let's allow these agencies to do their work. They will do so. Thank you very much, Honourable Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Deputy President. We now proceed to the second supplementary question from Honourable Malika.
Thank you, Chairperson. Siyabonga Sekela Mongameli ngemibuzo yakho ngempendulo zakho ezigculisayo. Honourable Deputy President, whilst we share the collective desire to see those implicated in corruption speedily prosecuted, we do so with great sense of caution because our rule of law requires non-interference by anyone in the work of SABC and National Prosecuting Authority. It is also important to agree that grey listing of countries should apply all countries of the world, developed and undeveloped. Umbuzo wami Sekela Mongameli, has government conducted an audit on the capacity needs of the SABC and NPA for them to successfully discharge their constitutional mandate of identifying, arresting and prosecuting those implicated the crimes identified by the FATF.
Thank you very much, Honourable Member, Honourable Deputy President.
Thank you very much, Honourable Chairperson. Honourable Malika, I can agree with you more. We must never interfere, especially the executive, in the work of the institutions that we have set up. I did say earlier that these institutions are working together. They are taking what we call the multidisciplinary initiative. So there is collaboration between the NPA, the Asset Forfeiture Unit, Special Investigating Unit, they are working together. And I agree with you that let's allow them to do their work. Where we realize that there may be capacity problems, indeed, government must ensure that we support. But at the moment, I know that all of them do have capacity to do the work that they are busy with. They will come up with an integrated approach, coordination, and to ensure that indeed they are able to perform this task. And government's role is to ensure that we support them, to ensure that they have enough capacity, and we are doing exactly that. Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Deputy President. We now proceed to the third supplementary question from Honorable Hadebe.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. Honorable Deputy President, considering the reputational damage and consequently the lack of trust that has been caused by South Africa's grey listing, I would like to know how you have capacitated the Financial Intelligence Center to effectively manage requests for financial intelligence from law enforcement agencies concerning money laundering and terrorist financing investigations. Thank you.
Deputy President.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson, and thank you, Honorable Hadebe, for the question. As I said earlier, we want these agencies, we support this approach they are taking, the multidisciplinary initiative. So the anti-corruption task team is located at the Financial Intelligence Center. So they are working together to ensure that they have this capacity. I have not been alerted to the fact that they may be struggling with capacity. I think it's been more coordination in the main, but definitely we are paying attention to that. The JCPS, which I chair, will be particularly looking closely at the work of this institution so that we are able to address the deficiencies. We believe that we can, as South Africa, in fact, address the deficiencies identified longer before 2025. In fact, we think by next year we would have addressed all this. And of course, that will require that we have a financial intelligence center that is working optimally. And we are doing everything in our power to support them. Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Deputy President. We'll now proceed to supplementary question number 4 from Honorable Mtsamai.
Chairperson NCOP Amos Masondo. Deputy President, South Africa was grey listed because of failure adequately investigated, prosecute money laundering and terrorist financing. Which assurance can the Deputy President provide that South Africa will be removed from the list when the President of the country, Mr. Cyril Matamela Ramaphosa, himself is a criminal who stands accused of money laundering on his Phala Phala farm? I thank you.
Yes. Honorable Chief Whip.
The Honorable Member, Chair, I'm rising, grossly violated the rules of the House. The President of the country has never been found guilty in any court of law, and I ask that the member withdraws the statement.
Honorable Mutsamai, I'm sure you know that you can't really use a language that's not in keeping with how we run business of this house. I call upon you to withdraw.
What must I withdraw, Chairperson? Because he is involved. Matsohonga High. Kitlebeki withdraw what, Chairperson? Can you highlight me? Because the people who were arrested on that day, on the case of Parliament, involved. Where must I withdraw?
I'm sure you know that this is not the first time that this matter has been raised in the House, and you're supposed to be fairly familiar with how to deal with these matters. And indeed, I mean, if you want to raise an issue of criminality and so on, you have a right to submit a motion in this House so that the issue then is openly debated. But until that happens, you have to withdraw this remark. And if you don't, Honorable Mtsamai, you know what's going to happen to you.
Which one? Which one must I withdraw?
Sorry?
Which way must I withdraw?
Criminal. Referring to a president as a criminal.
Showed. Because criminal is
the same thing. The Shorugi criminal is just South Sutu. You're still sticking to the same word. Are you sticking to what we are saying? Are you going to withdraw?
No,
are you withdrawing?
No, I don't withdraw.
You'll have to leave the House, sorry. Please leave the House. Please leave the House.
Chairperson.
I'm ordering you to leave the House.
On a point of order.
Thank you very much. We will.
Chairperson, on a point of order.
Ask Honorable Mtsama to leave the House.
But there is a point of order. Chairperson, on a point of order.
Thank you very much.
No, but this is.
Member, what's your issue?
It's censorship. What you are trying to do.
On what point are you raising?
It's censorship. What you are trying to do, Chairperson. But by members not expressing what they want to express fully.
Honourable member, on what point are you raising?
It's a point of order that it was freedom of speech that he was expressing, and you want to censor what members are saying so that it can suit the agenda of the ruling party.
Yeah, unfortunately, Honourable member,
no, but we need to know, Chairperson, but you need to do better.
There's no point of order there. It's not the point of order. We're just opposed to the ruling or something, but that's not the point of order. Thank you very much. We'll proceed to the next question. The next question, Honorable Deputy President, is question number 3. This question is on political coalitions. This question is from Honorable Mohai and is directed to the Deputy President. Deputy President.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. Honorable Chairperson, following the 2021 local government elections, political coalitions among various political parties became necessary because of hung councils where no single party gained a majority of votes in those municipalities. Acknowledging that coalition governments have not been institutionalized, the South African Local Government Association, SALGA, in 2021 developed a framework for coalition governments that can be used as a guide by political parties in practically structuring their coalitions. The issue of coalitions is part of the discussion on improving the quality of our democracy. While working towards the dialogue, the government will review the negative impact of dysfunctional coalition arrangements and its effect on service delivery. Chairperson, we are particularly concerned that although some municipalities are weakened because of low economic growth, approval of development proposals that would boost local economic growth, that these are derailed because of endless disruptions of coalition governments. The results of this process that we have undertaken will form part of the dialogue on coalitions to determine the appropriate mechanism to guide on how coalitions function collectively. So, Honourable Member, we are emphasizing here that prior to 2021, there wasn't a really, other than what SALCA did, there wasn't a strong framework that everybody agreed to nationally. And we want to take from the SALCA framework, strengthen it, and come up with a framework that will guide all municipalities nationally as they do coalition, so that the emphasis should be good service to the people. We must put people first. In some of the coalitions, you can see that when those coalitions are set up, it's not really about the people. It's almost like making deals. So we want this framework to be able to guide all the municipalities, put the people first, and ensure that coalitions should be put in place for the benefit of the people to improve service delivery. Chairperson, I thank you.
Thank you very much, Deputy President. The first supplementary question comes from Honourable Mahai. Honourable Mahai.
Thank you very much, Chairperson of the Council. And thank you, Deputy President, for providing greater clarity on this matter, on how the democratic government is approaching this important question. Honourable Deputy President, because of the governance instability and disruptions caused by the current local government coalitions, some citizens have begun to lose confidence in local government as a whole, which may increase lower voter turnout in the future elections. As part of our regulatory framework on coalitions, will government consider a participatory process of taking into account the views of communities in line with the injunctions of the Freedom Charter you mentioned in your response about unifying vision for the people, and that no government can justly claim authority unless it is based on the will of the people? Linked to that, how do we avoid and prevent capture of local state power by people and parties with no real democratic voter support of residents of our municipalities, as demonstrated by the outcome of the 2021 local government elections? I thank you, Chairperson.
Honourable Deputy President.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Thank you, Honourable Mahai. Indeed, local government is the closest government to the people. I think it's important for us to emphasize that point, and that because local government is the closest to the people, we need to minimize disruptions as much as we can at that level. So I agree with you that the participatory approach is correct when dealing with these matters, because we need to ensure that our municipalities are accountable to the people. We must make sure that whatever they do is about improving service delivery to communities, and therefore, in the way they are constituted, this must be it must be at the core of their mandate to be able to serve communities. So I agree with you. We must ensure that at all times, those who are involved at local government level are only informed by that approach. that we are here to serve our people, we are accountable to them, and all arrangements that must be made or have to be made must be always to put people first. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Deputy President. The second supplementary question comes from Honorable Dwight. Honorable Dwight.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Deputy President, it is true that coalition politics is the future of South Africa. The oversight role that all political parties play on three spheres of government can never be stressed enough. Unlike Honorable Dudova's statement that political interference is the key driver of underperformance, maladministration and corruption that hampers service delivery and development and not coalitions. Coalitions is not the reason for failing local municipalities. The ANC has governed this country for decades without coalition parties, and they managed to govern it into the ground on their own, not putting the people first. Cadre deployment also plays an unfortunate, degrading and counterproductive role, Honourable Deputy President. Would you agree that more stringent government-designed regulatory framework for political management in coalition governments will take away the democratic freedom of the coalition partners, and that coalition partners must have the choice to determine on what grounds and what values they are willing to participate in a coalition government? If not, why not?
Thank you, President.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson, and thank you very much, Honorable Dutoit, for the question. I think Honorable Dutoit agrees with me, because I did say earlier that we must put a framework that will guide how these coalitions are being set up. So I agree with you, Honorable Dutoit, when you say we need a regulatory framework, because yes, indeed, we can't always say we blame the challenges or problems of local government on coalitions. But the point we are saying is that the way these coalitions are being set up in some of these areas lead to these problems. And that's why we must fix the way coalitions are set up, because we are in an era in South Africa where coalition governments, particularly local government, have now become the order of the day, because there's no single party that is winning outrightly. Therefore, we need to get the model right to make sure that when the coalitions are set up, they are set up in a proper way. There shouldn't be interference from anybody. The local government is another sphere of government. Those parties there must come together and be able to set up those coalitions. Of course, working together with other spheres of government for support. And we believe that when coalitions are set up, the parties there are willing participants. Nobody's being coerced or dragged on. All the parties come together, discuss, and they agree. And I think that should be always the case. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Chair, on a point of order. On a point of order, Chair.
Okay. Let's see how far we go. Let's hear what the point of order is, Honourable Member.
Thank you, Honourable Chair. Honourable Chair, I think the Deputy President misunderstood me. I said that if I would like to know if the Deputy President would agree.
But what is the point of order, Honourable Dutoit?
The Deputy President is misleading the House, stating that I said that I support more stringent regulatory framework. That's not what I said. I said that if more stringent regulatory framework is put in place, that will take away the democratic freedom of coalition partners.
Yeah, no,
Thank you.
Unfortunately, that's not the point of order, Honourable Dutoit. We'll proceed to the next supplementary question that comes from Honourable M. Dlamini from the EFF.
Thank you, Chairperson. Reliable service delivery remains one of South Africa's biggest challenges. Will the dialogue which the Deputy President refers to also include a focus on the high levels of corruption and mismanagement, which under the leadership of the outgoing ruling party plagued municipalities for decades? If so, please provide details.
Honorable Deputy President.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. Honorable Dlamini, when parties come together for a coalition at the local government, they take into account, amongst others, good governance. It's part of that. So if you understand good governance, it means that at the core of that, they will ensure that they deal with the problem of corruption if it exists. And they do it as parties together. They look at service delivery. They look at accountability to the communities. So yes, I think the issue of corruption should not be singled out to a particular party. Because there's often an attempt to say the ANC is the corrupt party, which is not the case. When there are challenges in institutions and municipalities, let's deal with those officials that are corrupt. Let's not single political parties. And I think it's important that we move away from that notion. Already on the ground, your party is part of these coalitions. And I'm sure working together with us, they don't endorse corruption. Together with us, we'll deal with the problem of corruption. So there should be no finger pointing to the African National Congress. We as the ANC have always been an anti-corruption party, always. In fact, Honorable Chairperson, if you look at many laws of this country initiated by us are anti-corruption. And we want that to be implemented right down to the ground. So the dialogue will include that. Thank you very much, Chairperson.